my name is Chelsea, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a book haul. I know in my first video I said that I was going to be doing my entire physical TBR next, but I unintentionally lied, and that is because I decided it made more sense to do a book haul first of my most recent purchases, and then in my next video I promise it will be my entire physical TBR. With that being said, I also want to take the time to say that I am absolutely horrid at summarizing synopses, so with most of these books I will be reading the synopsis unless the synopsis is too long, because I did mention in my previous video that I do have a paralyzed vocal cord and I do get vocal cord fatigue and it becomes harder for me to breathe, my voice gets breathy. Anyways, the point is I won't be reading the synopsis for every single one of them, and I also did write down some notes on some index cards to prevent me from having to read a large synopsis. Anyways, the first book that I have is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman, and I've heard so many good things about this book. I heard that it was funny, and I realized that it's kind of like a Hunger Games meets video game dungeon. The world ends and people have to survive insane levels for alien entertainment, and Carl, the main character, is stuck doing that with his cat. So I'm not interested in video games at all, but because of the Hunger Games aspect, I was intrigued. So I went ahead and purchased this book. Alright, the second book that I purchased is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst, and this is the second book in a series. I did read the first one already. The first one is The Spell Shop, and from my understanding from reading the synopsis in this book, I think this is supposed to give the backstory about something that is mentioned in the beginning of The Spell Shop. But I don't think that you have to read these. Like, I don't think you have to read the first one to understand the second one. I think you can read them as standalones. I'm not positive, but I think you can. Anyways, I also wanted to show you guys the hardcovers on all of these books. Hopefully I don't forget. This one just has a plain purple hardcover, and then the font is in a metallic gold, and then the edges I think are like a turquoise. It's a little bit dark in here. This one has purple edges, and I also wanted to take the time to mention that she has a third book coming out in this series, and it's called Sea of Charms, and the expected release date is July 28th of 2026. So I'm really excited to read this next one because they are cozy fantasies, and I love me a cozy fantasy. The next book that I purchased is Crown Tide by Alex Astor. And before I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the hardcover right now. It has some really pretty pink foiling on the cover, and then the spine. Stunning. I absolutely love this. Alright, I am a little conflicted with this series. I have read Lightlark and Nightbane. I have yet to read Skyshade, and obviously this book. The series starts with a structured magical game, which is what I thought was going to be carried on throughout the series, with rules, trials, and competition meant to break curses. As the story continues, though, it shifts focus and becomes much more romance-driven, and I'm liking it, but it turned out to be something entirely different than what I thought it would be. But I've kept reading it because I want to find out who she picks, Oro or Grimm, which leads us to our next purchase, and that is the Oro and Grimm flip book. We have Oro on one side and then Grimm on the other. It is in this case. I normally don't like to keep these, but for this book specifically, I will be keeping it. I kind of find them annoying, but I don't know, I don't want to get rid of it for this one, just because it has the author's name on it and the Lightlark series, so I will be keeping it. And then the hardcover is illustrated with Grimm on one side and then Oro on the other, and then the spine kind of combines the two illustrations, And then this has these, I don't know, roses on the edges. I'm kind of not a fan. I don't really like that. And then here are the end papers. And then we've got a couple, I didn't even know that. There's a couple of illustrations in the book. And these are supposed to be from the perspective, they're novellas in the perspective of Orro and Grimm. Oops. So I purchased this book, and the next book that I have is An Archive of Romance by Ava Reid. And let's see, I'm gonna go ahead. Did I forget to show you guys? Okay, no, okay. The hardcover on this one is like a deep purple. Maybe it's maroon. I can't tell. Again, did I say this already? It's kind of dim in here. I do really love the spine on this book. Also, I feel like, yeah, I'm not going to read the synopsis, but it is about fairies, and that's kind of what drew me in. And it's a shorter book, and also, I didn't know this until I was flipping through it earlier. I bought this the other day, and there are just like tons of illustrations in here. Sorry if I'm looking off to the side. I have a mirror right here, so I'm not constantly staring at myself in the screen. So if I'm looking off to the side, it's just to make sure that everything is in view of the camera. Let's see. We've got this letter. Anyways, I'm really excited about this. The next book that I have is The Surrogate Mother by Freida McFadden. And I saw this book in the store and was instantly intrigued by the title alone. I didn't even read the synopsis until I got home. I do really quickly want to talk about Freida McFadden. So I am, again, conflicted about her as an author. What I like about her books is that they are super easy reads. I can fly through them in one day, and she knows how to keep you invested in the story, but the endings I always kind of find lackluster. I think the only 5-star read I have given her is for The Housemaid, and I did go see that movie in theaters. I just want to say I personally thought the book was way better than the movie. I won't go into reasons why, because there may be some unpopular opinions with people, but I liked the book way better than the movie. And I think the only other book that I gave more than a 3-star rating is The Teacher. I have all of these books right here by Freida McFadden, and I have read all of them. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn, yet I keep picking up her books, so I don't really understand that myself. But anyways, I will really quickly read the synopsis for this one. Abby wants a baby more than anything, but after years of failed infertility treatments and adoptions that have fallen through, it seems like motherhood is not in her future. That is until her personal assistant, Monica, makes a generous offer to serve as her surrogate. It's an offer that will make all of Abby's dreams come true. But soon, strange things start happening, and it turns out Monica isn't who she says she is. The woman now carrying Abby's child has an unspeakable secret, and she will stop at nothing to get what she wants. And honestly, that makes this book even more intriguing to me than just the title alone. So I am excited to read this book. I hope that I like it. Who knows? It's a mystery. All right, the next book is Wings of Starlight by Allison Saft. And I saw another booktuber haul this, and then I ended up seeing the book in Walmart. And she mentioned that it was about fairies. I mean, it's kind of blaringly obvious that that's what it's about. And I went ahead and picked it up because of that fact alone. And the synopsis is a little bit too long for me to read, so I will not be doing that. I will really quickly show you the hardcover, and it's just like a light blue, a solid light blue, and then we have some silver foiling for the font. Now, I did watch a couple of reviews on TikTok, and one person suggested watching the movies first before reading this book, just so you have a better understanding of what's happening. So I do plan on doing that. And then I picked up The Night and the Moth, and I gravitated towards this book strictly because of the cover. This cover to me is absolutely gorgeous. I love this so much. And I did pull this book up on Goodreads to see if it had a high rating before I purchased it. And then I read the synopsis. I will really quickly read the synopsis for this book. Sybil Delling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Like the other foundling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in the great cathedral, Sybil is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as the Omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk alike travel across the Stonewater Kingdom's windswept moors and craggy mountains to learn their futures by her dreams. Just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at the cathedral. Rude, heretical, and devilishly handsome, the knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's visions. But when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them. For the world outside the cathedral's cloister is wrought with peril. Only the gods have the answers she is seeking, and as much as she'd rather avoid Roderick's dark eyes and sharp tongue, only a heretic can defeat a god. Only a heretic can defeat a god. Anyways, I thought that also sounded interesting, paired with the cover. I hope that I'm in for a good time. The next few books that I purchased are books that I purchased from the Dollar Tree, and my sister got me into this habit. Every so often I will go into the Dollar Tree and check out their book section. I will just really quickly search it on Goodreads, and if it has a high 3-star rating, then I will purchase the book. So the first book I have is 1 Month of You by Suzanne Ewart. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce her last name. We have that book. And then we have A Tidy Ending by Joanna Cannon. And I will really quickly show you the hardcover. It's just a solid red hardcover with some silver foiling for the font. And then the last book that I picked up from the Dollar Tree is Hold My Girl by Charlene Carr. And I was interested in the title alone. I do not care for the cover by any means. I do not like the cover at all. And then I will really quickly show you the hardcover. It is just a solid white hardcover with black font for the title on the spine. We are getting down to the last 2 books in my haul, and both of these books were given to me by my sister. My sister is literally the reason that I got into reading, and from my understanding, this first book, I think she bought from Barnes & Noble. She bought one for herself, and then she bought one for me as well, and it is called Murder at Holly House by Denzil Mayrick. And I will really quickly read the synopsis for this one. A Village of Secrets, Yorkshire, 1952. Christmas is fast approaching when a dead stranger is found lodged up the chimney of Holly House in the snow-covered village of Elderby. Is he a simple thief or a would-be killer? A mystery that can't be solved. Inspector Frank Grasby is ordered to investigate, but as is often the way for him, things don't go according to plan. A Christmas to Remember. When the local doctor's husband is murdered, Grasby begins to realize that everyone in Elderby is hiding something, and if he can't uncover the truth, the whole country will pay a dreadful price. That honestly does sound pretty interesting. Obviously this is like supposed to be a Christmas book. I am somebody who could read a Christmas book in summertime. I'm pretty sure I did read a Christmas book last summer. So, I could read this at any point in time. I think my sister wants to buddy read this though, so I'll have to ask her. And then the last book that I have, my sister sent this to me as a surprise, and I just got it in the mail yesterday, and she also sent something else with it. She had said that I mentioned wanting this. She wasn't going to tell me, she wanted me to be surprised. which I will show you what it is in a second after I'm done talking about this book. So I sat there and was racking my brain trying to think about what I had told her that I had wanted. And I will say that I was super, super excited about it and I wanted to share it with you guys. But again, we'll talk about that in a second. The book that she purchased for me is Ask for Andrea, and this is by Noelle W. Illy. I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name. And then the edges on this book, it says, "Dead women don't forget." And I remember specifically reading that somewhere, and I was telling her this. I was like, that sounds so familiar. I swear that I read that somewhere, and I wanted to add it to my TBR, and I completely forgot. I do want to read the synopsis because it does sound intriguing. Megan, Brescia, and Skye have just one thing in common. They were all murdered by the same man. He hunted them online, masquerading as an eligible bachelor. Then he played the perfect gentleman, a thick layer of charm and a 1,000-watt smile, hiding the fact that his first dates end in shallow graves. He's gotten away with murder 3 times now. The only thing that might keep him from killing again? The women he murdered. Megan, Brescia, and Skye might be dead, but they're not gone. They've found each other, and they won't rest until they find a way to stop him. The haunt is on. And my sister said that sounded like right up my alley. And then also, she saw the blurb, and she noticed that it was blurbed by Frida McFadden. Hands down, one of my favorite reads of the year. So she thought that I would love this book, and I'm definitely intrigued. And then, really quickly, what I want to talk about is this booklight. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I personally have found a really hard time finding a good booklight. And I absolutely love this. She purchased this for me because I mentioned it at Christmas. So there are a few different settings. You can change the colors, and then you can also change the brightness. And then it has this clip that you can clip on the back of the book. And yeah, this is, I also want to mention, you can swivel the head and then you can bend it up and down. Anyways, I just really love this booklight and I wanted to share it with you guys. This booklight is so much better than those wire booklights. Anytime I would use those, they would just never stay in position. They would move. I would try to move it to one side, it would just move back. But yeah, I really wanted to share this with you guys because I love it so much. I will have to get the link from her and I will leave it in the description box below if you are interested in it. Anyways, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope to see you guys all next time. Bye!